Hey, Joe, how are you?
Hey, Barack, I'm feeling great. Just wrapped up a meeting. Those midday naps really help with my fatigue. How's the apartment hunting going?
Well, Joe, it's a bit difficult to bring this up, especially considering how Trump always teases you about it. But we really need to address the inflation and housing shortage in this area. I recently checked out a one-bedroom apartment without a functioning toilet, and they were asking for a whopping $2,000 a month. And the worst part is, I didn't even get it, despite being a former president of the United States.
Come on, Barack, you know I don't have time for that. Oh, man. All right, fine.
Mr. President, how can I assist you tonight?
Rachel, please add the following items to my agenda for tomorrow: addressing inflation and improving the housing market.
Certainly, Mr. President.
While we're on the subject, what else is on the schedule for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we have tackling world hunger, working towards global peace, and purchasing whipped cream.
Let's make that last one a top priority. I'm running low on whipped cream, and remember to write that on that little note card you always give me too.
Certainly, Mr. President.
That's all for now, Rachel. I don't want to be disturbed further this evening. I have some important calls to make.
Understood, sir.
Hey guys, what are you talking about?
Hi, George. We were just discussing Barack's current living situation.
Oh, I see. Barry, how's it been living with Trump?
It's actually pretty nice here. I thought I'd run into Donald more often, but this house is so massive that you hardly ever bump into each other.
And what about Melania? Was she okay with you moving in?
Oh, she welcomed me with open arms right from the start. Overall, it's been a great experience living here. Although, there's this one thing, it's not a big deal, but I noticed it a few days ago.
Oh, I know what it is. It's Donald's hair curlers that he wears to bed.
Or is it his Sunday evening Homer Simpson impression practice?
Nope, it's not about Donald himself. It's the food. I mean, everything I've been served to eat and drink since I moved in has been orange. Literally everything.
Come on, Barack, you're exaggerating a bit, aren't you?
Just to give you an example, today we had dinner with carrot ginger soup, butternut squash pasta, carrot salad, and an orange creamsicle cheesecake for dessert. And of course, Fanta to drink. I'm telling you, George, it's literally everything.
That surely is just a coincidence.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Had to take a dump.
Why do you always manage to be late because you needed to do that? Can't you plan ahead better?
Joe, I can't help it. Just the thought of talking to you makes me want to regurgitate from every orifice in my body.
Are you sure it's not the aftermath of those 14 Big Macs you devoured for breakfast?
Can we please start with the tier list now? Do you even know how many survivors there are to rank? 39? This will take ages. So let's start now.
All right, then I will start. Today we're going to assess which survivors stand out as the strongest and which ones we consider less so.
I'd like to emphasize that these are our own opinions, and you're free to have different views.
Well, although if you do disagree, you might just be mistaken.
Wonderful. That should definitely foster a friendly atmosphere in the comments.
Huh? Our perspective is clearly the most accurate, or to be precise, my perspective.
Would you please shut up, Don? Do you have any idea how many death threats I received because I ranked Bubba in B tier in the last killer ranking video? They actually threatened me with drone strikes.
Well, to be fair, it was a super idiotic ranking of you. I'm just more in touch with our community.
This time, we won't have such issues. I've outlined a set of criteria for our rankings. We'll evaluate them based on teachable perks, available cosmetics, design, backstory, stealth capabilities, and noise volume. Look, I even took the time to create some handouts with all the different stats.
Yeah, sorry, George, that sounds hella lame. I'll just rank them based on my personal preferences. You can do whatever you want, though.
But I spent a whole day preparing those handouts.
Sorry, George, I'm with Donald on this one, but we can use them as reference if necessary.
Fine. Let's just start with the list then.
Let's kick things off with Ace Visconti. When it comes to his perks, except for open-handed, they're not exactly game changers. However, I must say his design and cosmetics are top-notch. Plus, he's one of the quietest survivors out there. I'd comfortably place him in the B tier.
You know, I've noticed ace players tend to grab the killer's attention quite often, and I respect that if they can handle the heat.
Well, Ace, you're landing in the D tier for me. I've never, not once in my life, been unhooked by an ace.
Let's, as usual, aim for the middle ground. C tier it is for ace. And by the way, Obama, thanks for using my handouts.
They're actually quite handy. Good job, George.
Up next, we've got Adam Francis. Now, he's got only one perk worth mentioning, and that's deliverance. The other perks, especially autodidact, are frankly terrible.
I can't stand his design. He might have been great for hiding in tall grass, but that gray trench coat and his oversized character model ruin any chances of that.
Why would he be particularly good at hiding in tall grass? Oh, I get it now. Trump, don't bring race into this.
What do you mean, race? It's just basic physics that darker objects are less visible in the absence of light.
Well, I guess you have a point there.
I'm on the same page as George here, and it looks like his pick rate reflects that. I think he's a strong candidate for the D tier.
Maybe it would be a different story if we played solo queue more. In that case, deliverance is a game changer. But as it stands, D tier is the right spot for him.
Moving on, let's talk about Ada Wong. She was absolutely badass in Resident Evil 4, and her design in Dead by Daylight is equally awesome. However, I have to admit that her perks are somewhat lacking. I'd place her in the C tier.
Well, even though I'm not a big fan of Chinese food, I'd definitely savor her bun.
What do you mean you don't like Chinese food? Remember after our last ranking, we all gathered at your place and you devoured like 4 boxes of orange chicken.
Orange chicken is a classic American dish from Hawaii, you culinary buffoon.
Yeah, you sure look like a gourmet connoisseur when you're cramming big heaps of Cheetos into your slobbering mouth.
Guys, can we please stop talking about orange food? It's making me nervous.
All right. What's his problem anyway? Moving on, finally, we have a serious survivor. Ash Williams is a demon-shredding badass with a killer design and some sick voice lines. One of the few real men in this game. He's at least A tier.
What? What the fuck is wrong with you, Trump? Ash is one of the weakest characters in the game. He has one good perk, which is buckle up, but the rest is garbage. And his grunts are louder than your mom in bed. He is D tier.
Yeah, Trump, just take a look at George's handouts. He really is trash.
You guys just don't know what a real badass looks like. Ash is a go-getter.
Don, maybe this will change your mind. In one of his voice lines, he apparently makes fun of hiding in tall grass.
Look who's shitting in the tall grass.
Convinced. D tier for that sucker?
Well, it's good to see some rationality in that lump of fat you call a brain.
Come on, guys, with all your bickering, we will never finish this tier list. Let's pick up the pace. Speed round time, starting with Cheryl Mason. Soul Guard has its uses, but it's not great. Her other perks are very situational, and her cosmetics lack stealthiness. C tier for her.
Good job, Joe. I'll try to match your speed with David King. David used to have the best exhaustion perk, Dead Hard, and it's still strong. We're Gonna Live Forever is excellent for blood points, and even No Mither has some use in the new meta. But his large character model and loud grunts hold him back. I'm putting him in the A tier.
I'm pleased to see you two using my handouts effectively.
Fine. I will use your stupid handouts and rank David Tapp. But just because I have never even once played as him or used one of his apparently very mediocre perks, the only good one he has is Detective's Hunch, as it seems. Wait, you can see totems and chests too with this perk? Anyway, I will rank him in B tier because his huge model limits his tall grass ability.
See, my handouts come in handy, and you even learned something today. When was the last time that happened?
George, please, let's stay focused and finish this list. No time for bickering. Keep it rolling and tell us about Dwight.
All right, I'll be a cooperative team player like Dwight Fairfield. His perks range from very good to mediocre, with Prove Thyself being the standout, making gen rushing a piece of cake. Bond is great for coordination, but he lacks stealthiness. Still solid A tier in my opinion.
Fantastic. Let's keep the momentum going. Now, on to my cutie, Ellen Ripley. Her light-footed and Lucky Star perks synergize well with certain chase builds. While her chemical trap perk can be amusing, most killers have adapted to it, making it less effective. And let's not forget that adorable lobby animation with Jones the cat. I might be a tad biased, but I believe she deserves an A-tier spot.
I agree. Ellen Ripley's perks have been quite enjoyable to use, maybe because she's the newest survivor.
The data I gathered about her isn't as solid as for the other survivors, so I will accept A tier. Moving on, Bill Overbeck. Speaking of bills, did you guys hear that Bill Clinton started his own presidential Dead by Daylight channel on YouTube? He reportedly has over 10,000 subscribers.
What? 10,000? How can that be? We started our channel weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard about that. He even collaborated with Otstarva in one of his videos, and his channel took off.
What the fuck? Why didn't he collaborate with us? We were here first.
Well, maybe it's because you talk so much shit about Spain's far right during your rally.
What about that Noob 3 guy? Isn't he from the US? What if we collaborate with him?
I think he's from Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn it. It seems our collaboration with him will have to wait until 2024 after I win the election and annex Canada.
I never liked Bill. I took the blame for all his negligence during his term.
Come on, guys. Bill deserves his moment in the spotlight, and our time will come too, perhaps once we finish this tier list.
Right. Back to Overbeck. He brings two exceptional perks that effectively counter some of the most frustrating killer tactics. Unbreakable is a game changer against slugging, and Borrowed Time is a strong counter to tunneling. His third perk, Left Behind, can occasionally prove useful in solo queue situations. Unfortunately, his cosmetics leave much to be desired. I'll place him in the A tier.
I will do Elodie Rakoto before Trump again rants about her wasted tall grass ability. I actually enjoy using Elodie's deception perk, especially when I combine it with Head On. However, I understand that it's a very niche perk and more for fun than clutch plays. It's always hilarious to see the killer checking the empty locker that I just ran by and faked.
I had my fair share of struggles with her power struggle perk. I tried it many times, but I couldn't make much use of it.
That might have been before they buffed it. Nowadays, you can get significant value out of it when you combine it with Flip Flop and Unbreakable.
But it's still quite niche, and all her perks are on the weak side. Fun, maybe, but still weak.
All right, considering all that, I'm still giving her a D tier.
All right then, next is Felix Richter. I swear I have never even once seen someone play as him, probably because he looks like a cuck. However, he's German, and his perk, Built to Last, reflects German reliability wonderfully. Recharging toolboxes while hiding in a locker is awesome.
I wouldn't underestimate his perk, Desperate Measures, either. It can come in clutch in some situations. And Visionary can sometimes be useful on indoor maps like the Raccoon Police Department. I'd rank him in high C tier.
Continuing with Fang Min, she brings one of the best exhaustion perks, Lithe. The ability to quickly escape a chase or create substantial distance just by vaulting a window or sliding over a pallet is incredibly powerful. Additionally, Alert is a fairly solid information perk.
Although we can all agree that Technician is simply garbage.
And let's not forget she has the most and arguably the best cosmetics. It seems like she gets a new cosmetic almost every chapter.
Her pick rate is the highest by far, probably due to those awesome cosmetics.
And because she has the highest pick rate, she gets even more cosmetics. It's an endless cycle.
Anyway, I completely understand why the community loves her. I love her too. Fang Min mains somehow radiate an aura of skill. I think she'll be our first S tier.
Agreed.
Barack, sweetheart, I've prepared some snacks for you. May I come in?
Yes, please come in.
Here, I've made you some orange slices and some Doritos. Enjoy.
Thanks so much, Mel.
How's your little tier list coming along?
It's going well, but we still have a lot of survivors to rank. The next one is Gabriel Soma.
Oh, he's one of my favorites. I don't know why, but there's something very appealing about his outfit.
Hey, Barack, tell my wife that this is our tier list, and I'd like some snacks too. Cheetos, not Doritos.
Mel, Donald wanted me to ask if he could also get some snacks, maybe some Cheetos.
Of course, sweetheart, you can have some. I'll bring them to your room in a moment. Have fun with your tier list, boys. Goodbye.
Bye, Melania.
Donald, you're really fortunate. Melania is such a caring wife. I wish Jill would be so invested in what I do.
Yeah, same goes for Laura.
Yeah, Melania is great. Can we continue with Gabriel now? Despite what my wife thinks about him, I also believe he's a strong survivor. His perk Scavenger, combined with Built to Last, allows for some excellent gen rushing builds.
That's true, and Made for This is fantastic for extending chases, so the gen rushers can do their job efficiently. Troubleshooter is great for coordination. Overall, an extremely solid set of perks that he has to offer. I would argue worthy of S tier.
Unfortunately, he feels rather clumsy with his movement, and that bright orange vest doesn't make him very stealthy. I would still put him in high A tier. Next up is Hattie Carr. Each of her teachable perks is exceedingly niche and doesn't provide significant value in a match. Personally, I wouldn't waste a perk slot on any of them.
Hold on there, buddy. Overzealous can have some utility, though I'd admit her other perks are pretty much useless as well. They are indeed quite niche.
And her injured sounds can shatter all the windows on Midwich Elementary School. Come on, guys, let's not be afraid to rank bad survivors in a low tier. She's clearly D tier.
I'm with Donald on this one. All her perks suck ass. She does have some cool cosmetics, and that's why she lands in D tier instead of F tier.
Next is my favorite from the past, Jake Park. Iron Will used to be such a strong perk. The ability to remain completely silent while injured made a huge difference. After the nerf, it's mediocre at best. I really miss the times when hooks didn't respawn. Saboteur was a must-have back then. Calm Spirit, on the other hand, was always trash.
Yeah, but nowadays, his perks, cosmetics, and even his volume are all mediocre or even subpar. Sorry, George, but according to your handouts, he only deserves C tier.
Can we at least put him at the top of C for the sake of the good old days?
Sure, George. Moving on to Jane Romero. Her perks, Solidarity and Poised, are incredibly useless. Head On, as Barack mentioned, can be fun, but is also very niche. Her injured sounds are quite loud. I would argue she belongs in F tier.
We can't give her F tier. The view of that dump truck when playing with her is just too good. Let's give her D tier.
Yeah, I agree with Barack on this one. Head On is too much fun for F tier.
D tier is fine for me.
Hello, sweetie. I brought your snacks. As you wanted, some Cheetos, and after you guys are finished, I thought I could drive to McDonald's and get some Big Macs for you and Barack.
Oh yes, please, something that's not orange.
Yeah, that sounds great, Mel. Thanks for the snacks.
Bye, guys.
What was that about orange food, Barack?
Well, Don, don't get me wrong. I'm really grateful that you took me in, and everything has been great. But for some reason, Melania always serves me orange food. I can't stand it anymore.
Really? I've never noticed that.
Can we move on with the list? Talking about snacks and McDonald's made me really hungry.
Right, this list is taking forever. Let's do another speed round. I'll start with Jeffrey Johansson. His first two perks, Breakdown and Aftercare, are pretty mediocre. However, Distortion is a game changer in nearly every match. The ability to negate the killer's aura reading ability is incredibly strong. Sadly, his character model is large, and all his sounds are extremely loud, making him one of the worst choices for stealth playstyles. But since all of his perks have some uses, I'll give him a lower B tier.
I'll tackle Jill Valentine. While her counterforce perk is garbage, Blast Mine is absolutely hilarious, and I love trolling killers with it. Resurgence can also provide some value. Additionally, she's pretty quiet and has a small character model. The most crucial aspect is that she's total wife material, so B tier.
I guess I'll handle Jonah Vasquez. Honestly, I don't really like his design. He seems like a total jackass, especially with those sunglasses.
Hey, sunglasses are cool.
Yeah, but wearing them in dark places radiates idiot vibes. I think his pick rate reflects that. Anyway, his perk, Overcome, can be very useful to escape the chase after the first hit. And his boon, Exponential, is also quite handy in an organized team. So, I'd still give him C tier.
My handouts come to the rescue once again. I'll continue our streak with Kate Denson. She has two garbage perks that almost never provide any value, Boil Over and Dance With Me. But her third perk, Windows of Opportunity, is an all-time classic. I use it in nearly all my chase builds. That perk and her stealth stats still earn her a C tier in my book.
Yeah, and because she's the second best waifu after Jill.
Great, let's continue that drive and do another speed round.
Who the heck is this now? George, why can random people join our Discord calls every time we're recording a video? Can't you whitelist it or something?
Hello, my fellow presidents. This is Bill Clinton speaking.
Bill, what are you doing here?
I heard we have something in common. We all have a presidential Dead by Daylight channel, although one is way more successful than the other.
Whatever. You probably cheated and paid Otsdarva for that collaboration.
In fact, Otsdarva asked me to collaborate because I'm actually good at this game. However, I'm here to offer a collaboration for our channels.
What kind of collaboration did you have in mind, Bill?
Maybe we could start doing some videos together, perhaps play some Kill Your Friends matches.
I don't know, Bill. We have a perfect balance of Democrats and Republicans on our team. I'm afraid your presence could throw that out of the window. I can imagine Donald and George might have a problem with that.
Yes, I do have a problem with that.
Hold on a second, George. A collaboration with a channel of his size could be very useful. Maybe we should give it a try, just once.
Yeah, why not do a test run right now? Bill, how would you rank the next survivor on the list?
I'd be happy to assist with your tier list.
Wait, I will send you my handouts.
I don't need petty handouts. I have all the information memorized. Let's see. Claudette Morel, a heavily overrated survivor. Trash perks all across the board. Claudette mains are always wasting time self-healing in the corner of the map, or just hiding in tall grass like little crybabies. F tier.
Oh.
What did you just say? Claudette is the best survivor in the whole game. Fuck! You demented piece of human waste. And hiding in tall grass is one of the most crucial parts of the fucking game. I can't believe it, but you are even dumber than your crack whore of a wife. Get off my fucking Discord.
Well, I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
Damn right you fucking did.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for it. It's absolutely my fault that I thought I was talking to someone who actually knows something about the game and not a bunch of noobs.
That's it. Kick his snooty ass out of our Discord, George.
Gladly. Get lost, Bill.
Well, I'm happy to leave you to your pathetic list.
What a fucking asshole. I will put Claudette Morel in S tier where she belongs, and I don't want to hear anything about it or I swear I lose it a second time this month.
All right then. S tier for Claudette. Right, guys?
Aye.
I'm going to sit out the next few survivors. I need to do some breathing exercises before I can continue ranking.
Since when do you do breathing exercises?
Since now, Joe.
Okay then, let's continue with Laurie Strode. Her perks have also suffered from heavy nerfs, especially Object of Obsession, which went from being a clutch perk to nearly useless. Decisive Strike, however, is still very effective against tunneling despite the nerfs. And Soul Survivor can be handy in solo queue.
Even Object can still be fairly useful. There are some creative builds you can try with it.
What do you think, guys? A tier or B tier?
I'd put her in low A tier because her noises aren't that loud either.
I think that's a fair evaluation. Next up is, in my opinion, another D tier candidate, Leon Kennedy. All his perks are terrible except for Flashbang, which can have some use in very few situations.
Yeah, the Kennedy curse seems to be strong in him. D tier sounds about right.
From a fairly bad teachable perk set, we move to one of, if not the best perk sets for any survivor. Meg Thomas brings not only the arguably best exhaustion perk, Sprint Burst, but also the third best, Adrenaline. Even her third perk, Quick and Quiet, can be a good addition to some builds, although I admit it is pretty niche.
Meg was my first main survivor back in the day. I've since moved on, but I still love her.
And the community does too, as she's the second most picked survivor in the game.
So S tier for her, right?
Right.
I'm back, guys. Man, breathing is exhausting.
Yeah, not really. That's just because you are a fat fuck. Anyway, Trump, what do you think about Michaela Reed?
Lucky for you, I'm too exhausted to argue. I'm not a real fan of redheads, but it fits her witch style perfectly.
I agree. Her design is pretty unique, and that might be the reason why she's a community favorite as well.
Her boons are both good even after the nerf. I would have ranked her in S tier before the nerf, but now she's A tier for me.
What? What is going on, Barack?
I just looked at myself in the mirror, and I have a slight orange tint to my skin.
It's probably just the lighting, Barack. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you're likely right. This tier list is driving me insane. There are so many survivors to rank.
Just think about doing this list in 2 years when they've added another 20 survivors.
Let's push through. I really need some sleep. I'm starting to feel unwell.
You know what? It's speed round time. I'll kick it off with Nancy Wheeler. Her inner healing perk is the strongest of her three, allowing healing in lockers, which is cool. Her other perks have niche uses, but the fact that she's no longer available for purchase lowers her rank a bit. I'd place her in low B tier.
Since I'm feeling generous, I'll take on Nia Carlson. Her balanced landing is the weakest exhaustion perk due to many maps where it's nearly or completely useless. It's still an exhaustion perk though, Streetwise is weak, but not entirely useless. Whenever I see someone crouching faster due to urban evasion, it makes me want to punch them in the face for wasting a perk slot. In my opinion, Nia would be an S-tier killer, but as a survivor, she's in B tier.
Don's got the energy back. I'll finish up with Nicolas Cage. He's the most hilarious addition to DBD, perfectly timed when the devs focused so much on balance that they forgot about the fun. All of his perks are enjoyable to run, with scene partner being the weakest but still fun. Dramaturgy and plot twist are both fun and strong. Nicholas certainly deserves a place in the middle of A tier.
Watching the survivor pool shrink makes me feel a bit better, thanks guys. I'll keep it going by ranking Quentin Smith. He is arguably the ugliest survivor, designed to look completely exhausted, which is reflected in his perks. Wake Up is terrible, and while Pharmacy has some improved utility since the Boon healing and self-care nerfs, it's still not a great choice. Vigil can be useful, especially in the current meta where killers often run perks that cause blindness. Quentin lands in C tier.
Our tier list seems reasonably well balanced at this point, although we haven't categorized any survivors as F tier yet.
That's because almost every survivor contributes at least one somewhat decent perk to the game, which automatically secures them a spot in D tier. I can only think of one survivor I would unequivocally place in the F tier.
Oh dear, what's happening here? Are we under attack?
Mr. President, is everything all right? I heard shouts.
Rachel, contact the military. It seems there's an attack on our country. Can't you hear the alarm?
Sir, this is the medication reminder alarm that you requested to be installed. You can turn it off using this button.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that. Since you're already here, Rachel, could you please bring me my pills? My back is killing me.
Certainly, Mr. President. Should I crush and serve them with applesauce as usual?
Yes, please.
All right, sir.
Great. Thanks to your high-pitched screams, I have a ringing in the ears.
Yeah, what the fuck, Joe?
I'm sorry, guys. I forgot about the alarm.
Of course you did, Sleepy Joe.
Since I want to wrap up this fucking dreadful list before the sun rises, I'll continue with Rebecca Chambers before any of you get the chance to start an argument. She brings one of the best perks against camping. Reassurance allows her to significantly slow down the sacrifice process, giving the other survivors the opportunity to finish the generators. She also brings hyper-focus, which in the hands of a skilled player can provide great value. If it weren't for Better Than New, which is absolutely terrible, she would be in A tier. But with that perk holding her back, she's placed in high B tier.
Great thinking, Barack. I'll handle Renato Lyra. All of his perks are mediocre at best, with teamwork, collective stealth being the worst of them. It's such a niche perk that I've never gotten any value from it. Blood Rush can be handy in some perk combinations, though. They recently changed his perk Background Player in the 7.3 update, but it would surprise me if it's any better now. As it stands, he belongs in D tier.
I hate his design. With those swaggy pants, he looks like a douchebag.
Thanks for your contribution, Don.
I'll show you how to rate this scum accurately, George. Thalita Lyra is without a doubt the worst survivor in the game. Every single one of her perks is absolutely and utterly useless. Her design is such an eyesore that I wish to be blinded by a fangmane every time I have to look at her. Whoever pays 500 Oryx cells for her should definitely rethink their life choices. To F tier with her.
I sadly agree with Don. All of her perks are trash, but you can also purchase her with iridescent shards.
That's just not enough to redeem her.
She also would have been my choice for F tier.
Finally, the finish line is in sight. Only 6 more survivors to rank.
I will do my best to finish Steve Harrington. His perk Guardian is not the best, but still an okay counter against tunneling. Kinship is basically a worse reassurance. Kinship only works on yourself, while reassurance works only on others. So if you are not a selfish prick, just bring reassurance and not kinship. His best perk is renewal, which is basically a free heal. I would still just use adrenaline, to be honest. Overall, I would put him in B tier.
We should definitely hurry up. Joe is getting sleepy.
I would just put Vittorio in B tier as well. He has one good perk, which is Fogwise, a mediocre one, which is Potential Energy, and a garbage one with Quick Gambit, so shortly a perfect B tier.
Wait a minute, Barack. I think you are rushing too much. Have you even seen his shirtless cosmet?
What the hell? How did this jackass get back into our call? George, I thought you had blocked him.
I never said that. Are you hallucinating from the sodium and all those Cheetos you've been stuffing your face with?
Gentlemen, please, I'm just here to negotiate.
What do you want, Bill? We don't have time for your bullshit.
Well, I talked to my fellow YouTube friends about our last encounter, and they came up with an interesting idea.
What's the idea, Bill? We really need to finish our tier list. This video is getting way too long.
Don't worry about your video. No one wants to watch that crap anyway.
If you're just here to trash our channel, I'll kick you out right now.
Please just listen to my proposal.
Fine, go on.
As I mentioned, I spoke with my friends, and they suggested a friendly competition between our two channels. A small tournament, if you will. 2 matches. Your best killer against my survivor team, and our best killer against your survivor team. Each kill earns a point for the killer, and each escape earns 1 for the survivors. The team with the most points after these 2 matches wins. Sounds fun, right?
It sounds awful because I'd have to endure your terrible voice again.
Maybe you'll be more interested if we add a little something extra.
What do you mean by that?
If your team wins, you get our YouTube channel with all its subscribers. And if my team wins, we get yours.
Screw off, Bill. We're not betting our YouTube channel. We have a great community, and we won't risk it for your power play.
That's what I thought. You noobs don't stand a chance against us anyway.
Come on, guys, show some balls. I want to wipe that stupid grin off his face.
See? Donald is up for it.
I'm in too. This bastard has belittled us for the last time.
Well, we could certainly benefit from a channel with 10,000 subscribers.
It's 20,000 now and counting.
I don't know, guys. What if we lose?
We won't lose to this jerk. Besides, it's 3 against 1, Joe.
You've got yourself a deal, Bill. Send us the details about the time and date.
Yeah, and now fuck off.
Very well, gentlemen. I'll be in touch soon.
What were you guys thinking? We don't even know who's on his team.
Well, it should be other presidents since it's a presidential DVD channel.
Don't be such a baby, Joe.
But we don't even have a good killer. George is the only one of us who's halfway decent.
Hey, I've honed my skills as an artist, and I'm sure I can handle these douchebags without a problem.
Let's hope you're not overestimating yourself.
Can we please get back to finishing this list now?
Finally, at least one of you Democrats isn't a little pussy. I appreciate that, Barack, and that's why I'll tackle Yoichi Asakawa at lightning speed.
The only thing you do at lightning speed is chase after your Uber delivery driver when he forgets your extra Big Mac sauce.
Fuck off, George, and let me concentrate. Yoichi's perk, parental guidance, can sometimes be useful for mind games and empathic connection for coordination. But his dark theory is the worst boon perk in the whole game. I've never used it once, and I don't plan to either. C tier.
Great job. I'll follow up with Yui Kimura. She has a really cool design that captures her spirit as a scooter racer. Her perk, Any Means Necessary, is fantastic. The ability to reset dropped pallets was a great addition to the game and provides value every single match. Lucky Break is another solid perk, a huge help for escaping a chase after the first hit. However, Breakout isn't that great, and I wouldn't recommend running it. All in all, she deserves a solid spot in the middle of A tier.
Mr. President, here is your medicine.
Thank you, Pamela.
It's actually right, whatever.
Before I take these pills that always knock me out, I'll tackle Yunjin Lee. Yun is designed to look like a Karen, and her resting bitch face always reminds me of you, Don.
Keep trying, Sleepy Joe. At some point, you might actually say something funny.
Whatever. Her perks are also almost all trash. The only one with some use to it is Smash Hit. It's an extremely situational exhaustion perk. If you stun the killer with a pallet, you get a 150% speed boost for 4 seconds. Why should anyone use this instead of Lithe? She is definitely D tier.
It's pronounced Lithe.
Finally, we've reached the last survivor, Zarina Kassir. Let's rank her together for the ending. She brings one of the most overpowered perks in the current meta. Off the record is the best anti-tunneling perk. It grants the endurance status effect, suppresses grunts of pain, and prevents the killer's aura reading ability after unhooking. It literally combines like 3 perks in one.
But her second perk, Red Herring, is pretty underwhelming. The ability to mark the current generator you are working on is not very effective. Maybe it has its uses in solo queue, but I've never tried that.
However, her last perk, For the People, is another banger. It lets you heal other survivors instantly by trading a health state. This perk works great with Off the Record, too.
What do you think, boys? Does she deserve an S-tier slot?
I'm a bit hesitant since she isn't one of the OGs.
I think she deserves it.
Slap her an S tier then.
We did it, boys. We finally finished the tier list. I'm so proud of us.
I just hope I don't get any more death threats.
Let's wrap up the video. It took us long enough.
Yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more from us, and make sure to cancel your subscription to Bill's account.
Please share your thoughts in the comments about our ratings.
And if you know who was in Bill's team, write that down there too.
President's out.